Okay. Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Dan Comerford, and I'm the new senior minister here. And on behalf of our staff and leadership, I want to welcome you here this morning. And I want to thank you all for your service. One thing I always preach about, I try to encourage my congregation to follow Christ in the footsteps of Christ, who gave himself for the sake of others. And I really can't think of a better example than people like you who have given your time and so much more for the sake of the freedom, so that we can enjoy freedom today. So just on a personal note, I'm always so grateful to be here and to extend my gratitude for all of you and your service. So thank you for that. Why don't we begin this day with prayer? Loving God, we thank you for all that you have given us, most of all your Son, Jesus Christ, who died and was raised again for our sake. I pray that as we gather and we honor those who have served to help preserve the freedoms that we enjoy every day, that you would be with us and that you would continue to fill us with your love. I pray that you bless the food that we will be given, that it would nourish our bodies, that it would help us continue to do your work in this world. And we pray this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. And now, if you will please stand for the presentation of the colors. Turn. Breathe in. Horn.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Bill Osborne, and it's a pleasure to see everybody here. I just want to say a special thank you real quick to Mike Meeks and Tripp and Lisa Marissa Dea for making this happen. I'm actually a veteran myself of the Marine Corps, and I'd like to introduce you today to singer, songwriter, and performer from Gastonia, Asse Laber.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Meeks. Will everybody join me with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Forward, arm. Right, turn. Forward, march.
You may sit. We thank you for being here today. It's a pleasure and a privilege to acknowledge each of you at this time. I'm sorry we can't be together for lunch, but due to COVID, as you know, this protocol has changed. But be sure to pick up your box lunch as you leave. Next year, we hope to be back to normal, and we look forward to seeing all of you all again. And now, as I say, sings your service song. Please stand for your service song, and if you'd like to join in singing your song, I know he would love to have your participation.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. Then it's hi, hi, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong. For ere we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joy, we sail at break of day. Through our last night on shore, drink to the foam until we meet once more. Here's wishing you a happy voyage home. Off we go into the wide yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Adam, now give 'em the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame, go down in flames. Nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. We fight our country's battles in the air, on land and seas. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
Good morning. My name is not Mike Smeeks. I am Glenn Bratton, and it gives me an honor and it's a privilege for me to introduce my favorite cousin. At this time, I want to attempt to introduce Colonel Vivian P. Dennis. She's from Gastonia, North Carolina, and is a graduate of Hunter Huss High School, class of '78, a UNC Greensboro graduate with a BS degree in nursing, and a graduate of American Intercontinental University, where she earned her MBA Healthcare Management with a dual degree in Human Resources. She accepted a direct commission to the United States Air Force Marine Corps in July 1988. Her assignments afforded her opportunities that shaped her career and attributes to her mentoring, training, and an executive-level portfolio and experience in multiple leadership roles. From her first assignment at Dyess Air Force Base, Abilene, Texas, to Okinawa, Japan, to Lakenheath Air Base, England, her concentration was improving care for obstetrics, labor and delivery, and neonatal populations. In Okinawa, Colonel Dennis flew medical aerial evacuation missions for premature infants whose care required a Level 3 nursery in San Diego, California, or Wilford Hall Medical Center, San Antonio, Texas. Her next assignments took her to various locations and experiences in pediatrics, and later to program management for TRICARE management activity in Falls Church, Virginia, where she directed access to care for 9.1 million beneficiaries, ensuring the stand-up of an appointment system for active duty and family members. She also ensured plans and programs were integrated for an enterprise-wide referral and authorization system. Shortly after meeting success at TMA, Colonel Dennis received an assignment as a flight commander, obstetrics, where she managed obstetrics services for Air Force and Army families and combined emergency services with networked Alaskan medical facilities, focusing on the right care at the right time. Colonel Dennis' first deployment positioned her in a high operation tempo arena as flight commander of the Craig Joint Theater Hospital Intensive Care Unit, the busiest medical facility in Afghanistan, where she led care for over 900 traumas in a 6-month window. She managed a $638,000 budget and integrated current clinical practice standards for 20,000 U.S. and NATO warriors, local nationals, and 7 forward operating bases. During her second deployment, she was assigned as the sole Inspector General Advisor for 4 Afghanistan Inspectors General, Kuban, Afghanistan. She contributed clinical expertise in the surveillance of 140 million pharmacy inventory controls, ensuring all violations were captured, which led to this volatile target to a full-scale audit. Prior to her last assignment, she was the flight commander, 359th Medical Operations Squadron at Randolph Air Force Base in Texas. As a flight leader, she had oversight of 26 personnel and was responsible for the operations and physical management of pediatric clinics. She ensured full-spectrum clinical care, managing over 17,000 appointments annually for a population of over 6,000 beneficiaries. She led first-class operations for the immunizations clinic, which served over 26,000 patients annually, and 3 consecutive years exceeded the Surgeon General's goal for ensuring a mission-ready stance for deployment to members. Before her retirement in September 2018, Colonel Dennis was triple-hatted during this stint as the Interim Chief of Nursing Services, Interim Squadron Commander, and Primary Master Clinician for the 633rd Air Base Wing, Langley Air Force Base Medical Center. This is Langley Air Force Base in Virginia. In her position, she was appointed to sustain a competent and current training platform by ensuring over 120 nurses and technicians are developed, ready, and met requirements to maintain licensure to practice in their specialty areas. Her role was further defined as consultant to the MAGECOM nurse, commanders, and chief nurse in planning, directing, evaluating the effectiveness of the training programs, and compliance with the Air Force and civilian agencies. Colonel Dennis, now retired U.S. Air Force with 30 years of dedicated service, lives in Williamsburg, Virginia. As project manager for Advoca Aeronautics, her duties were to provide oversight operations as she successfully set up 9 COVID testing sites for Navair in California, Florida, Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland, plus an industry site in Charleston, South Carolina. She has recently joined the ICON clinical research team as the associate project manager of a research-based company whose mission is to improve drug development execution and save lives through integration of process and technology. In this new venture with ICON, her goal is to incorporate her military program development skills and leadership acumen to drive new solutions in cancer and research development. So again, I want to introduce to you this very accomplished young lady that has done a tremendous amount since she has left Gastonia and Hunter House High School. She has done so much that we in Gastonia and Gaston County be very proud of. And again, I'm happy to introduce my favorite cousin. Her mother and my mother were twin sisters. So again, I want to introduce my favorite cousin, Colonel Vivian Dennis.
Good morning, everyone. It's a great day to be here. I could not have paid for the weather to be any better. So with the program that we have set before us today, coupled with the weather, we are set up for a great day. Is that true? Yes. All right. I will speak before you this morning. You've heard about me from my favorite cousin, Glenn, who's just, we're the same age, and we had a lot of interactions together. So through our childhood on through to today, we've had a lot of time together, and I bounce a lot of things off of him because I respect him so much for all that he knows, even beyond the educational sector. So again, good morning. Good morning. I am happy to be here today to honor Gaston County veterans graciously hosted by Gastonia Parish Nurse Ministry, First Presbyterian Church, and Right at Home Belmont. Reverend Comerford, thank you so much for the welcome, and thank you for that prayer, which is always uplifting to our soul. Thank you so much. Also, would like to say thank you for the color guard who never fail us in their precision. Thank you very much for your presentation. Trip Stewart, there you are. Thank you for acknowledging the veterans. We really appreciate that. And also, I cannot fail to mention Ase. Thank you for your talents. That was awesome delivery. And anytime anyone delivers the all the service hymns for the military, I think that's a challenge, and I think you handle that well. So thank you very much. And also for Mr. Osborne, you have not made your presentation, but I'm sure that at the end of this program, it will continue to enlighten us on this Veterans Day Eve, okay? Thank you so much. Today, I will not be present here without the visionary Spec 4, Mike Meeks, U.S. Army, who is chairman of the Gaston County Veterans Council. From our many conversations, I have deducted that he is tireless and he has given a lot of support to uphold the dignity and honor of our veterans in Gaston County as well as the surrounding areas. How you go in day on, night, we've talked even at nighttime, I don't know how you do it. It's a mystery to us all, but your work and the respect and honor that you give for the veterans in Gaston County is very much appreciated, and I think you deserve a big hand for that. I also like to give special thanks to my family members, Tim Avery and his wife Angela, who both are U.S. Army veterans. A surprise visit from my cousin Marty Bratton and my uncle Grady Bratton. So those are surprises that I didn't even know would be attending today. So thank you, Glenn, for putting that nugget in their ear today. Okay, in honor of our service in our country on the eve of Veterans Day, I would like to ask all the veterans in the room to stand. All veterans. And look around you. Look at these wonderful people. They are our heroes. And you know what? They don't wear capes, but they still do great things. So in honor of Veterans Day, thank you for all you do, because we stand, I know I have stood on the shoulders of you who have come before me to do those things that I was empowered to do through the military. So thank you. Many of you do not know of a young girl from Gastonia who attended Pleasant Ridge, Victory Elementary, Ashley Junior High, a graduate of Hunter Huss High, and UNCG Greensboro. A young girl with her own dreams who did not know much beyond the walls of Gastonia and would one day rise up and become a leader in the same Air Force as many giants were a part of. In 1988, I received my commission in the Air Force Nurse Corps, learning very early that I was an officer first and a nurse second. That kind of confused me. I didn't really know what that meant. But after the first formal class, I learned what the meaning was. Virginia, a co-worker from the University of Virginia in Charlottesville on the spinal cord injury unit, she was in the Air Force. She was out at the time, So we began to have discussions about the Air Force, and she was saying that, oh, Vivian, you should think about it. You have your degree. You have your nursing degree as well. You're single. You get to travel. So she got my interest piqued, okay? So she kept talking, and then she said, and you get to tell people what to do. That was my keys. Where do I sign? So she even helped me locate a recruiter in Charlottesville. And of course, here I am today. And I did get to tell people what to do, but there were also people who certainly told me what to do as well. Okay, so that was all I needed to know. So going into the Air Force, the excitement in my voice, I was really excited for my first assignment. So we were given the opportunity to give 5 choices of places we want to go. So being from Gastonia, going to college, I hadn't done much travel out of North Carolina. So I wanted to see the world. So I listed places I've never been: California, Texas. There were some bases in New Jersey. So I said, hopefully I'll get one of those. So I did get Texas. I got Dias. So I don't know many of you who know anything about Dias, if your Air Force know about Dias. So you know Dias is not in the center of Metropolis, right? Okay, so I was all excited, and one of my friends from high school was in the military, and I wanted to share with him that I got selected for the Air Force. So I called him up. I said, Tony, guess what? I got selected for the Air Force. Oh, great, Vivian. So where are you going? So in a high-pitched voice, I said, Dias? He said, oh, Vivian, I am so sorry. And I was waiting for the laughter, and he never laughed. So I'm thinking, did I do something wrong? But anyway, needless to say, the first thoughts that I had was, I can't change it now. So what I have to do is make the best of it. Fast forwarding to 10 years later, August 1998, I had the privilege of attending the 27th National Tuskegee Airmen Convention in Washington, D.C. You all have heard of their triumphs in the air and their trials on the ground of the 99th Pursuit Squadron, who, yes, moved the conscience of a nation and captured it so eloquently in the movie, The Tuskegee Airman. Well, as fate would have it, I had the pleasure of meeting Major Nancy Lieutenant Kalan, retired U.S. Army Air Force Nurse Corps, who entered in 1945. She was the first African-American nurse to serve in the Reserve or Active Duty Army Air Nurse Corps, and in 1948, while she was stationed in Lockburn Air Force Base in Ohio, President Harry S. Truman's Executive Order 9981 established the beginnings of equality in the armed forces. I was a captain then, health professions and officer recruiting school recruiter in Connecticut. I met this phenomenal lady who lived in Amityville, New York at the time. I drove to New York so that we could meet and drive together to attend my first Tuskegee Airmen Convention in Washington. On the ride down, Nancy spoke of the many Tuskegee Airmen who she had met and had many relationships with as far as working and discussions on how to do things better in the service and how to get recognized for that as an African American. During the annual meeting, she introduced me to many Tuskegee Airmen greats, one after another. One after another, I would turn, and it would be someone else. Turn, and it would be someone else. And of course, I was in heaven because I am meeting those people who made a difference in our military. Then one day, just before lunch, she asked me if I wanted to accompany her to see Ben. You see, Ben was the first black brigadier general in the Air Force or any branch in the military. He was also a military former commander and command pilot of the Tuskegee Airmen. Was she talking to me? I mustered out a resounding yes. The ride to Arlington, Virginia, the high-rise apartments where he lived, had my pulse racing. Would someone have to lift me from the car because of my weak knees? What do I say? Wait, would I even be able to speak? We made it up to the elevator to the apartment where Mrs. Elnora Davis so warmly greeted us. I sat on the living room sofa waiting for his appearance. In walks this tall statue of a man, huge smile, long arms, still distinguished with a display of strength and valor, even in his aging character. The rest is history. On December the 9th, 1998, General Davis was advanced his 4th star by President Bill Clinton. On September the 1st, 2021, this year, Major retired Nancy celebrated her 101st birthday. I have been blessed with outstanding mentors, friends, Peggy, Barbara, Marilyn, Tori, Gay, Colonel Gloria Roseborough, who was the one who interviewed me for coming into the military 30 years ago, actually 33 years ago now. We just lost her last night with her fight to cancer. So in regards to condolences and for the great things that she did, just to let you know I'm appreciative. She was one who had a heart of gold, and anything I needed at any time, she would always assist. I know there were times when I needed assistance with my reports, and she was a lieutenant colonel at the time, and those reports make or break you as far as rank. And anytime I wanted anything, she was just say, push it to me, push it to me. So I would push it to her, thinking that I would get it back in a week. I got it back in like hours. And for the information that she documented and helped me to defend my papers, it was incredible. And I looked at it like, is this me that's doing these great things? She just had a way with words, and I appreciate her. And even beyond that, we had a great friendship. So I will miss her dearly. And I just wanted to say that because our friendship of over 30 years meant so much to me. There's Colonel Mike Black, who always has my back. Colonel retired Anthony Hardin, who is a Gastonia native and North Gaston graduate. Master Sergeant Vincent Green, Airman Juan Wilder, General Mike Mosley, General Thomas Puggs Tinsley, Chief Cole, Colonel Bowers Claney, the list goes on. And if you notice these names I'm calling, they're not all officers, they are enlisted. So it's very important. And I learned that very early, that my mentors, the people who I depended on to help me in my job and for me to give them the right tools so they can do their jobs well, it should not have always been an officer. The enlisted are trained very well, so we need to let them do their job because they would do their job well. And I learned that, and for that, I am grateful, and that catapulted me to new levels in my military career. Everyone was instrumental in shaping my fortitude and altitude of this young girl from North Carolina, which is me. I dedicate it all to my parents, Dora and Jacob Avery. You see, each and every one of our experiences are unique. Please understand that it is always difficult to stand because there are so many scenarios and no one is better than the other. But for the sake of time, you just struggle over what to share. You have heard countless wonderful stories of strength, survival, team winning, and yes, even losing from the military even that are in this room today. Michael Jordan stated, "I can accept failure, but I can't accept not trying." For me, my success as a leader is based on successes and failures and a command philosophy of trying. My 6 F's: stay fit in fitness, have faith in God, love your family, have fun, serve well in your flying mission, and always be fair. As an officer, I learned that I needed to know my job well, give everyone a voice and tools to be better airmen. I also learned that not only did I need to seek out people who do what I want to do, follow, and develop a working relationship, but I also need the support of enlisted just as much as sometimes even more. The biggest gain is knowing members are fully trained and qualified. Again, I say, to do their job well. If I heard, ma'am, you don't want to do that, or try it this way, I would listen. An invaluable supervisor and friend told me as I was preparing for deployment to Afghanistan, you will be training with the Army and the Marines. That was a fair warning, okay? Army and Marines come to training, they don't play. They know what they're doing. They know their game. You will train with enlisted as well as officers. Here is how you win. You get out there, and when you do that low crawl, you forget about not wanting to get your uniform dirty or messing up your nails. You get on that ground, and you put your face in the dirt, and you crawl. With wide eyes and a curiosity, I said, yes, ma'am. When it was my time to be face down on the ground, I remembered her words. As I crossed the line, my team cheered in amazement, and the trainers gave me a thumbs up. That's leadership. And the instructors would always tell us, no sleeping in class, pay attention, because you never know when you would need this information. And when I heard that statement, you can best believe I sat up straight in that chair. With going to Afghanistan, I absolutely would need to hear everything they were telling me that would save the lives of the people that I worked with as well as my own. And they were right. Here it is. Officer first, nurse second. I was in charge of leading a team of professionals at C.J. Craig Joint Hospital in Bagram, Afghanistan, while caring for 7 French coalition with over 50% plus burns on their body. Our mission was survival. For more than 12 hours, we poured fluids, antibiotics, pain medications, blood, plasma, until the airvac team from Germany arrived. We gave it our all. You know, I don't even recall even using the bathroom in a 12-hour period because my attention was to focus, get these coalition soldiers to where they need to be. And I don't know if you all know anything about burn victims, but one of the most important things that you do to keep them alive with extensive burns, you gotta pour those fluids. You gotta get the fluids and antibiotics in. It's a thing about timing. So that's what we were doing, and we had the entire staff, everyone on the floor, 12 plus hours trying to get them stabilized because the care that we gave to them, it was just to stabilize them, get the fluids in, antibiotics, etc. But we need to send them to a higher level of care, tertiary care in Germany to Longstool. Well, I would tell you, we stabilized these ill patients well enough to get them stabilized and get on that airvac to Germany. So when they got to Longstool, the plight was to be flown to France to continue their care or to be flown to the U.S. Of the 7, 2 did not make it out of Germany. But you know what? We lost 2, but we won. And the reason we won, because we gave it our best. We did what we could to help them survive when they were in our care. And that was a lesson for us. In Kabul, Afghanistan, my interpreter, an Army sergeant, and I found ourselves in a unit of coalition and American military in a 21-hour gunfight, a firefight with the Taliban. And going over to Afghanistan, of course, I went at a time, my first trip to Afghanistan, I don't know if you military in the room recall the time when there was a meeting at the airport and one of the members who was not American, was in the member, he fired on, I believe it was 8 people in the room, Americans, and the Americans met their demise. Well, the thing, and that happened at a conference room in the airport. So when I flew into Afghanistan, flying into that airport, that was the most creepiest feeling that I had. And it was like, I'm not believing that I'm here. So that put a lot of fear in me. But you know what? I was trained to do a job, not to run away, but to run to. So I was there to do what I could. As we were rushed down to the ground floor after we discovered that we were in a gunfight, I had to think fast. What do I do if the enemy compromises the base and comes through one of these doors? Because we were rushed down to the basement, my interpreter and I, and there was another officer the 3 of us were down in a basement. So in this hallway, or in the middle of the hallway, there was a door on the left and the door on the right. And we were the only 3 down there. So we were thinking, well, what if the Taliban breaks through that door? And the realization of what could happen was the scariest feeling in the world. But you know what? You got to remember that training. Had my 9, pulled that 9 out, did what I need to do, got that stance. If they bust through that door, if they were going to take me out, I would also take them out as well. I would take some out before I went out. So more of the story is I had to be ready. And at that point, I had shot a gun before, a weapon, but not to kill. But you know what? If I had to, I had to, because I want to save the lives of others as well as myself. And you also have to remember it was the Taliban, so nothing that they did was right. So in stepping into my job role and into that defense mode, that was what I was trained to do. And no, nurses do not go around killing people. But if I had to do it, then I had to do it. So, but anyway, one among a million trips on New Year's in Scotland that we took. This is a fun time. We wanted to do something special for New Year's, so we had plans with friends. I worked a night shift on labor and delivery, so it was about 12 of us. We decided to go to Scotland for New Year's, and there were about 3 of us, 3 out of 12 people who work nights. So, of course, we were like, nah, we don't want to go because we're going to be tired. But we were convinced to go. You're going to have fun. And when we're on the train, we're riding the train, so you don't have to worry about anything. You can sleep, get your rest in, and when we get to Scotland, we'll be ready to hit the ground rolling. So I was like, okay, we can do that. Let's do that. And they promised that, they'll be quiet. They'll have their own conversations. Oh, no, sirree. There were conversations, laughter, card games, and, actual conversations tapping us, not even letting us sleep. So you know what? The only thing we could do was just wake up and just be energized by what we were getting ready to do and the fun of being with each other. So that okie dokie that they pulled on us, it was okay. It was well worth it. It was December 29th. The celebration started. And as a birthday present, my coworker surprised me with a ticket to Phantom of the Opera while in Scotland. I have not had such a fantastic cultural celebration to compare to. A Scotland New Year's Eve and the kilts. That's another story. On New Year's Eve, right before midnight, the city of thousands gather in the streets to greet each other with kisses and a Happy New Year. It was freezing cold, but it was certainly worth the experience. As I reflect back to the 30 years of service, I can think of the many people I have had the honor of serving with, leading, building lasting friendships within the harshest conditions during training at many bases. We have been afforded the tools to work it out, think it out, play it out, and basically to pivot in adversity. Today in COVID, we face a horrific battle like none other that we have seen before. In the air, land, or sea. We must apply the same principles to pivot and rebuild. We have learned that we can do without those things that we thought we could do, that we could not do without or needed. The importance of time out, time with the family, building a healthy immune system coupled with a healthy living and fitness, recreating life scenarios with positivity, and communicating in the plethora of media modes used even more today. Let us continue to inspire those in our presence and realize there is no substitute for living, loving, laughing, sharing, educating, providing the tools needed to survive for ourselves and the generations behind us who are looking at us, and perhaps use any combinations of those 6 F's that I described for you. Live, love, laugh, and win. I leave you with the Air Force core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Thank you.
So Miss Colonel Vivian P. Dennis, what an amazing story. I can't think that anybody in this room can be more proud of you. Your leadership and your service and your dedication, you know, it hits home for me. I was a combat veteran in the Marine Corps. I served in Fallujah in 2005. I was looking for IEDs, and so were my guys. But after that, in my civilian life, I spent 10 years doing critical care transport, airplanes and helicopters here in the region. So this kind of hits home for me. I know what she's talking about. So certainly so much sacrifice, but what true leadership and what an inspiration. So on behalf of the Gaston Parish Nurse Ministry, the First Presbyterian Church of Gastonia, and the Gaston County Veterans Council, we would like to present you just a small certificate of your appreciation and pay special tribute to you for your military service to America and for advancing the universal hope of freedom and liberty for all, from all of us. What a great story. Thank you. I would like to talk to you before you leave. Are you sticking around for a little bit?
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, absolutely.
So I think that there's a poem on here on the back of your flyer. Before I recite this poem, everybody should have a packet of information in front of them. And if it doesn't pertain to you, right, if there's none of that information is particular to you guys, I know that it is particular to a lot of veterans here, there, everywhere, all across the country. I also know how difficult the VA is to navigate. So maybe there's a tidbit of information in there that will help somebody that you know. Please take the time to look at it. It wouldn't hurt anybody to go over that and just think of somebody, that they might could think of where that information could help. But so much these days, right? This poem, it's like, I feel like every year I get older, or I'm not sure, it seems to hit home harder for me, especially with the adversity that we've all had to overcome as a country, in the world, as a leader in the world as a country. So this poem just kind of drives it home for me. It's, my name is Old Glory. And it was written by Howard Schnauber. I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over institutions of learning. I stand guard with power in the world. Look up and see me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I'm confident. I'm resolved. I'm proud. When I am flown with my fellow banners, my head is a little higher, my colors a little truer. I am recognized all over the world. I am respected, I'm loved, I'm feared. I have fought in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. I was flown at the Valley Forge, Gettysburg, Shiloh, and Appomattox. I was there at San Juan Hill, the trenches of France, in the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, and the beaches of Normandy, Guam, Okinawa, Korea, Quezon, Saigon, Vietnam know me. I was there. I led my troops. I was dirty, battle-worn, and tired, but my soldiers cheered me, and I was proud. I've been burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of countries that I've helped set free. It does not hurt, for I am invincible. I have slipped the bonds of earth and stood watch over the uncharted frontiers of space from my vantage point on the moon. I have borne silent witness to all of America's finest hours, but my finest hour is yet to come. When I am torn into strips and used as bandages for my wounded comrades on the battlefield. When I'm flown at half-mast to honor my soldier, or when I lie in the trembling arms of a grieving parent at the grave of their fallen son or daughter, I am proud. I am the flag of the United States of America. I see you'll be coming up to sing America the Beautiful for us.
Once again, my name is Ase LeBear. I am a singer, songwriter, and I've done these events for almost 15 years, and each one is new. I just want to personally say, on behalf of my family, thank you to all of who served to protect my freedom and everybody else's. And if you would help me sing America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, my God, thy gold refined, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine.
Have already been retired, and so we're thankful. Thank you. Two very simple words, and yet they will never be enough to thank you for your service. But do know, from a grateful pastor, from a grateful community, and from a grateful state and nation, your service means the world to us. You have protected us and continue to stand for what is good and right and true in our nation. We are truly grateful, and especially for our veterans today, but for everyone. I pray that the Lord will bless you and keep you, that God will be kind and gracious to you, that the Lord will lift his face upon you and give you peace today and always. Brothers and sisters, go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Thanks be to God. Amen.